All right, Paul.
Today we're going to try and explain the simplest way and the easiest way to find out your valve clearance between the piston and the valve. And this is what it looks like in the end. Okay, now we're going to go from the beginning and show the do's and don'ts. Okay, now. Okay, this particular engine is a roller cam. It's a hydraulic roller. Okay, there's a spring in here. Just like a regular flat tappet roller for a standard car has a spring, they're hydraulic. When you're claying an engine for clearance, you get a misreading if you use the regular stock springs on the head, because the springs on the head are more stronger than the spring in the lifter, hydraulic lifter. Now, if you're using a solid lifter, whether it's a roller or a flat tappet, it doesn't matter. You can use these springs. So to make it come out the way we want it to come out, we're going to take the intake and exhaust spring now, a number one cylinder, and put in these springs. They're very light. They're cut to length. So now what we're going to do is take these two springs out. Oh, hold on. Take the springs out. This is the retainer, and these are the valve locks. They hold the spring onto the valve. Now this has a dual spring, inner and outer. You can use, a lot of guys like using the inner spring, and you can do that with a solid lifter cam. With a hydraulic cam, I like using these springs. They have no tension to them other than just to keep the valve seated. Okay, so now we're going to put these on. Fingers are in the way, I can see. Here's the deal. See, I can push the valve up and down with my finger now. You can't do that with these springs. This is how you want it. Okay, I'm going to put the other one.
Oh. All right.
Now we went down to the regular hobby shop and we got some modeling clay. You can use Play-Doh, whatever you want to use. Somewhere in here I cut a hole in there. Now you don't have to put a lot of clay in this deal. People put a lot of clay in it. You don't have to. I like putting clay as on the deck, around the valve pocket, and the other end of the deck. And you just put some clay in here, and you don't need a lot. Kind of get it wide wide enough, and you put it in the piston like this. You move it around to where you push it around. You don't need a real big gob of it. Okay, this is for the exhaust. This is the intake.
And remind me what it is that why you're doing this. I don't think you said it at the beginning.
We're checking the clearance between the valve when it's open with the camshaft to the pistons to see how much clearance we have to make sure there's not going to be any interference fit. Nothing that's going to be banging against each other. Otherwise, we'd have a catastrophic problem.
All right.
It's a good idea to put a little oil on here. Some guys spray WD-40, which I don't like because it goes all over the place. You don't have to be a messy builder. Most guys are messy. You just put a light coating. That's all you have to put.
That's whey oil or something?
No, just regular engine oil.
Oh.
Okay. Now we're going to put the head on the block. And we're going to put the head on the block, and we're going to put the lifters in there. Now the good thing about the lightweight springs, we're not going to compress the lifter. We're not going to compress it.
Some sound effects going on out there.
Need a lot of bolts. We just put a couple of. You put a bolt here, a short one here. You put a long one here. And one over here, and we put one back here to balance it out. The standard push rods on a small block Chevrolet, this is the length. On the roller cam, they're shorter because the lifter is taller. You can see the difference. Okay? So you can't make that mistake. Now you don't need to put oil on the valve stem or the lifter. We're not running the engine, we're just going to rotate it. Put them in the intake like that. Okay, now put the rockers on. Now the way I do this deal is that I'm going to show you how I adjust valves. A lot of guys, racing guys, engine performance guys, they have harmonic balancers that are indexed on the harmonic balancer 0, 90, 180, 360. I don't go by that crap, okay? This is the way I do it. The other way of doing it is some guys do it while the engine is running, but we're not doing that because the engine is part and B. I never do that anyways because you get oil all over the place. Number two, the other way is doing it with both valves all closed, all the way down on the bottom, on the baser, on the cam lobe. I don't do that either. This is I found is the best way of doing it, but you have to train yourself. What you do, the way cams are made, is that when you're adjusting, whether it's a hydraulic or a roller cam, solid lifter roller cam, solid lifter flat tappet, hydraulic flat tappet, whatever, they're all adjusted the same way. It doesn't matter if it's a Honda 4-cylinder, a Lamborghini. This is the way cams are ground. When the exhaust starts to open, and I'm going to show you how I do it. When the exhaust, you adjust the intake. When the intake recycles and opens all the way open, and then just before it closes, you adjust the intake. That's how you adjust the exhaust. Okay. Now, here we're going to go. We're going to rotate this until put your finger down here. You're going to rotate the engine until the exhaust starts to open. You watch my. See it move? No?
Yeah, it moved.
Okay. Now you adjust the intake. And I have zero lash. I'm not compressing it. We got zero lash. Now, this is hydraulic. When it's running, we're going to compress it down a quarter of a turn, and we're going to wind up even with more valve pocket clearance. But I want to get the minimum that I can do on the stand. Now, if it's a solid lifter, you get the actual thickness right out of the gate. Now, on your clay. Now we're going to adjust the exhaust. The intake is going to turn or go, and you're going to watch it open. The intake is opening. And just before it closes, you you adjust the exhaust, and that's how you do it. Now it's ready to check the clay. We're going to rotate it 2 cycles.
So you're checking the clay because you've adjusted the valves.
Right. We're checking now, see how far the valve is going into the chamber.
And how is somebody supposed to do this if they have already built the motor?
You can do it with a dial indicator.
Oh, okay.
I was going to put a dial indicator to show you. You can put a dial indicator on here. Put a degree wheel here. Find out where your cam is opening and closing, and you can do it in the engine too by take a spark plug out and see where your piston is in relationship. It's kind of, but this is the fastest and easiest way. You're not going to do it on a car. You're going to do it on an engine stand. You see, both valves are done. So anyways, shut it off.
All right. What do we got, Paul?
Now you can see where the thickness of the deck of the cylinder head to here, and from here to here, and this is where the valves went in here. You can see where it touched here and here. So what you do, you take a little razor blade, and you go really gently down and over and out, and you lift it up.
Oh, this is so you can measure the thickness.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's like Betty Crocker taught me this.
Yeah, Betty Crocker. I get it. All right, go ahead.
Now we can take a little Vernier caliper. It don't have to be something designed for that's going to go to the moon. Just something that's really close, a decent one. We zero it out. And we put it up here like this. And you take it down. And it says, we got plenty of clearance. We got 100 thousandths there, 130. We got 133 on both sides. That's plenty of clearance. And then we have, over here on our deck, we have 80 thousandths clearance on the deck. And I'm pretty sure this side is the same. Okay. We have the same amount of clearance. We got plenty of clearance, and the gasket is like 42 thousandths compressed, and so you're not going to have to worry about banging the valve against the block, and that's how you do it.